Hi everyone, I'm Marcy, and today I'm going to show you how to make some delicious churros from scratch. These are going to be golden and crispy on the outside and light and spongy on the inside. They're so good, everyone's going to devour them. One of the best things about this recipe is it uses pantry staples, so you probably already have everything you need to make them on hand. We're going to be starting with 6 tablespoons unsalted butter, 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 cup of all-purpose flour that has been sifted, 3 eggs, and 2 teaspoons vanilla extract. Then at the end, we're going to be making some cinnamon sugar, and I don't really measure this part. Probably, I'd say about half a cup of sugar, maybe 1, maybe 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, but we'll just see when we get to that point. You'll also need plenty of oil for frying. I'm going with canola because you want something with a high heat point. And finally, you'll need a piping bag with a large star tip. But I'll go ahead and put all that information for you in the description box beneath this video. So let's get started. I'm first going to melt the butter in a saucepan over medium-high heat, and to it I'm going to add in the cup of water as well as the sugar and the salt. I'm just going to mix to get everything dissolved and melted, and I'm going to let it come to a boil. Once it boils, I'm going to take it off the burner and add in the sifted flour. The fact that it's sifted ensures there are no little clumps and it gets incorporated easily into the liquid. Also, the flour will cook because the water was boiling. Once the flour is all incorporated, you'll be left with a smooth but heavy dough that no longer sticks to the sides of the pan. Now we can transfer it to a mixing bowl and kind of spread it out so that it cools faster. You'll want it to cool at least 10 minutes because we're going to be adding eggs to it. And if it's too hot, it will cook the eggs and you'll end up with scrambled eggs in your dough. Meantime, crack those eggs into a separate bowl, add in the vanilla, and whisk together. Once the dough has cooled, we're going to add the eggs in a little at a time. Each time you'll want to get it all mixed in until the batter has completely absorbed it. I'm doing this by hand, but you can also do this in a stand mixer using a paddle attachment. Now you should be left with a thick batter that's still really creamy and smooth. Go ahead and fill your pastry bag with it. Then heat your oil in a heavy bottom pan. While the oil is heating, mix together some sugar and cinnamon in a shallow dish. Again, I'm just eyeballing this part. Then set up your workstation. I've placed some paper towels over a wire rack, and next to it, I'll put my cinnamon sugar. When the oil has reached 350 degrees, or when it's hot but not smoking, we can start making our churros. We're now ready to fry, and here's the thing. I filled up this first pastry bag with the largest star tip that I have. I just don't think that it's going to be big enough. So what I did is I have this old plastic one from years and years ago. In fact, I think I got it off of one of the boxes of churros that you can buy the mix in a box. Anyway, I've saved it all these years. So I'm going to try this and we'll see which one works, and I'll just keep that. And this does take a little practice. So even if they come out kind of wonky, don't worry about it. You just kind of hide the ugly ones, showcase the beautiful ones, and they'll all get eaten anyway. You want them to turn golden in color on each side. Couple of pro tips for you. You'll notice that when I put this in, I use the edge of the pan to cut it. And then I kind of take my spoon and straighten it because they have a tendency to want to curl. So if you want to keep them straight, you just kind of push them, while they're in there in the oil. Now you can, and you'll see that I also have my kitchen scissors here. This is just kind of as a backup, but if you want to clip them, you can also use kitchen scissors. Just dip them in the oil first so that the batter doesn't stick to your scissors. But really, using the edge of the pan works for me. Once fried on both sides, set the churros onto the rack and let the excess oil drain. Now, while this first batch is still warm, I'll dip them into the cinnamon sugar one at a time and make sure they get fully coated. Just keep repeating the process until done. Just for fun, I want to make some heart-shaped churros, so I'm piping them onto some parchment paper and then placing them in the freezer for about 10 minutes so that it holds its shape. They pop right off, then I can fry them. Just be careful. I should have probably placed this onto the spoon first. But the point is, if you want a perfectly shaped or a specifically shaped churro, that's when you add the freezer step. Otherwise, it's really not necessary. These churros are all done. I think the heart-shaped ones turned out adorable. As promised, they are crispy on the outside. So let me crack one open and see what they're like on the inside. And they're light and spongy. So now we give it a taste. They're seriously so good. Such a wonderful treat. And as you saw, so much easier to make than you would think. So don't be intimidated to make them. They really come together nicely. And even if they don't look great, they taste wonderful. They're completely irresistible. I hope you try this. Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any one of my recipes. I also invite you to follow me at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my kitchen to yours.